Welcome back to Adam Drives LA, where I drive the coolest cars on LA's most iconic roads. I am super excited about what we have today after having recently driven the new Ford F-150 Hybrid and the brand new Chevy Silverado 1500. We do have the next of the big three, ladies and gentlemen. Today's truck is the brand new Ram 1500. We do have it with the 5.7 Hemi and the e-torque. We're going to talk a little bit more about that once we get inside and start driving this truck. But overall, take a look at it. This does have the night package, which is an absolute must when it comes to options. You get this big, massive blacked out grille. And mind you, while we're talking about that, look at the beautiful metallic flakes you get just on that accent piece. Gorgeous color, gorgeous contrast with that night package. Along with the night package, you do get the black wheels, the black mirrors. All of the badging is black on the front, the rear, the sides. You do get the black exhaust pipes and of course the blacked out massive Ram logo. Again, you will not find the Dodge logo anywhere on this truck. This is a Ram. It is a spin-off brand. Now, before we get started, I do want to remind you, if you enjoy videos like this where I quickly go through the pros, the cons, and tell you if I think you should buy a car or truck that I'm reviewing, please consider subscribing to the channel. Scroll down, smash the like button, leave a comment what you like or dislike about the video, about this truck. Without any further ado, let's jump right in. There's a ton to talk about. I don't want to waste any time, so let's get right into it. Let me give you the highlights of the truck we are in now. This is the 2021 Ram 1500 Bighorn. This has an MSRP of about $43,000. The one we are currently in has a total price tag with options of $58,000. This has the optional Hemi V8. It's a 5.7. It makes about 395 horsepower, 410 pound-feet of torque. This has a maximum payload of 2,300 pounds. And because of that e-torque system, which replaces a traditional alternator with a hybrid system, it does allow this truck to have a towing capacity of over 6 tons. Now, with the price tag approaching $60,000 with options and without being a heavy duty or super duty truck, this better be filled with amazing features, and amazing features are aplenty. Let's jump right in and start with the interior. Now, when I first got into this truck, I have to tell you, it is a really nice place to be. I could be in this truck for hours. I mean, it is the first time you really get in and you notice the luxury world is just creeping into the pickup truck market, which it has been for the last 5-6 years. But you notice it here. It starts to feel less utilitarian and more like an SUV. Of course, we have to start with what you noticed first, and what Ram really pushed was that massive 12-inch monitor right in the center. I have to tell you, this is the perfect blend of having just enough physical buttons, having it just analog enough, yet being really nice, sleek, and an actual fast, responsive, crisp display. Now, of course, you do have the full screen on any display. Anything you want to show, whether it's navigation or media, you have the full screen. You also have the option to hit the home button and get into a split screen situation. You can move things around, you can change it as you go. I love that feature. Now, when you go to the bottom of the screen, you have your main options. So let's say you go into climate. Of course, extremely responsive, very smooth to the touch. Everything works just as it should very quickly. Now, once you go back into navigation or something, for some people, when you're driving, you just don't want to have to go into that digital zone. You do just want to quickly adjust a few things. Well, luckily for you, on the left-hand side, you do have a set of buttons for the main climate controls. You can do that because our muscle memory is there. You don't really have to look over to do this. I love that they've given you the option while still keeping a really clean system. At any point, you can click on the back cam, go through it, and of course, one thing I love is you can zoom in all the way up to see for, you know, when you're getting a trailer hooked up or anything else that's really close behind you. You can do this at any point while you're driving forward, in reverse, parked, anytime you want. I love that feature. And going into the general settings, you see all the options you have. Scrolling through it, I mean, this really does feel like you have an iPad in here, in the sense of it's responsive enough. It doesn't feel like a laggy system. A lot of these newer systems, they have so many features that immediately right from the factory they feel laggy. This truck does not have that problem. Ram really nailed it out of the park with this. Now this truck was just detailed before I picked it up, so of course right now you don't see the fingerprints when the monitor is off, but you will have that issue. But one thing to keep in mind, this isn't a large enough panel like the Audi where the entire interior is almost piano black. So if you just keep a little microfiber cloth in here, you're gonna be fine. Once in a while, you know, every couple of days, just wipe the dust off. It'll look amazing. Believe me when I tell you, the presence in this interior is just, it really is like a luxury SUV at this point. Directly in front of me, the steering wheel is nice. It's just the right amount of thickness and it's a light enough feeling, which when we get into the driving aspect, I'll talk more about the steering wheel. Ahead of it in the dash in front of me, you do have a very analog on left and right. You have your analog gauges. They're really nicely designed. I love the little metal trim around it, but you do also have your digital information in front of you. You can scroll through it. It tells you pretty good information. I mean, it tells you some of your off-road capabilities, talks about your vehicle's general info like the oil life. You can just put your speedometer in there if you wanted and change other setups in that monitor. I love the way they've done it. Good combination of analog and digital. Now this is the Bighorn. Now if you went with the Lamari package, Lamari, I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but that is the luxury package. You will get the leather everywhere, even on, you know, the armrest, the seats, the dash up here, you will have stitching. That's the next level if you really were after the luxury. This is the Bighorn, so we're going to talk a little bit more about this interior, but for those of you who wanted that more luxury and SUV style in this truck, you do have that option with another trim level. All right, let's talk a little bit about storage. Now, before we get into the deep storage pockets, let's talk cup holders. You have a total of 10 cup holders. You have 2 on each door up front. You have 2 in the center. Then you have 2 behind you in the center for the rear passengers. And then the rear passengers each have a cup holder on their door. Let's talk general storage in this truck. There is storage everywhere. I mean, anywhere you look, you're gonna find deep storage pockets. You don't have one glove compartment, you have 2. You have storage on the doors, you have massive storage. Now look at the center. You have your cup holders, right? Now when you push this back, look at how much space is below it. Now if that's not enough space below you, once you lift up the armrest, you can just move that tray around. It is extremely deep down here. I'm telling you, you can almost fit another passenger in the middle. Now, if you remember from my Ford F-150 review, the tailgate had a measurement chart. This truck, the Ram 1500, has a conversion chart with tons of information inside the armrest there. How cool is that? And of course, you can open the secondary compartment in the armrest and you have even more storage there. Now this truck has a feature that I've only really seen in a lot of high-end sport cars and exotic cars, but on the left-hand side, you can adjust the distance of the pedal box. You can move the pedals towards you or away from you. I'm not sure exactly why I need that if I can adjust the seat, but it's there. Very cool feature. Let's jump into the second row of this cabin. Now you'll notice extremely roomy as you get in here, tons of legroom. I don't think I've ever had so much legroom in a truck like this. There is an immense amount, headroom, legroom, I mean just space between each passenger. You're really just always socially distancing in a truck like this. Storage, again, massive in this truck. Even in the second row, the seats fold up, you have storage below them, but also the floor mats come out and you have little pockets of storage on each side. And Ram has really gone all out to make sure visibility is not sacrificed in this truck. For example, the grab handle that you use to jump into this truck is flattened out in the sense that it does not block my vision at all. It just blends in with the A-pillar, but the handle is still there. It's not compromised. Very cool little things like this help enhance the driving experience of a truck like this. And finally, this truck has 19 speakers in the cabin, above you, all around you, in the rear, in the front, all over. You do have the option to either go with the standard Alpine or the upgraded Harman Kardon speaker, which I do recommend. That is an amazing sound system. A very important aspect is the drive of this truck, and I believe that is its main selling point. But before we get into that, let me make some quick points about the exterior design. Of course, other than the front end, the rear hasn't changed too much. It's very nice. It's definitely sophisticated just enough where it looks updated, but not really a totally refreshment like some other trucks have done. But up front, you do have a gorgeous down-the-road graphics, that big grille, especially, as I said, with that night package. I think that was an absolute must, especially with any contrasting color, but I have seen it on the black trucks. Still complements the truck very nicely. I do highly recommend getting that. Let's talk driving experience. Now, the first thing, of course, this does have the 5.7 V8. Let's hit it for a second. plenty of power, and the shifts are the more impressive part. That 8-speed single clutch automatic, it shifts so smoothly, you don't feel that jitter at all. Now, that's probably done because they're assuming you will be towing things, you'll have things in the payload that you're not going to want to be moving around from that jitter, so it's extremely smooth. That might dull a little bit of that acceleration feeling every time it shifts. It kind of throws you, but not in this truck. This truck is really, like I said, it's moving more towards the luxury side. Every other truck has gone more and more utilitarian. The Ram, I think, is the first all-around great truck for an everyday driver. And to give you an idea of just how luxurious these trucks are getting, not only is this already an extremely smooth and balanced ride, they offer an optional air suspension. I mean, you used to only be able to get that on an S-Class Mercedes or something really high-end, you know, Rolls-Royce, high-end BMWs had these. You're now getting that in a utility pickup truck. It's insane. They really want the everyday driver to buy this truck. And the steering wheel, as I said, it's just light enough that it gives you the confidence and that like takes away that heavy feeling of a truck, but it's just, it feels so composed when accelerating, when braking. I mean, the steering wheel is extremely predictable. This really is the most comfortable pickup truck I have ever driven. Now that I've been driving this truck around pretty much all day, let me get into my conclusion. The Ram 1500 has a jaw-dropping interior. It is gorgeous in here. The exterior is stunning, great down-the-road graphics. It really has a presence with that front grille. It's totally capable. Now, it will still take a backseat to the Ford F-150 when it comes to utility and the overall core functionality that trucks require. But when it comes to using the truck as an everyday item, taking it to the store and back, buying groceries, using it to actually haul things, going on road trips, and just spending genuine time inside of a cabin in a place, this is going to be the truck to get. I am telling you, I fell in love. This thing was at the car wash. I was watching it get washed. It looks great. When I get in and it's all clean, I feel like I could spend hours and hours on a trip in this truck. Plenty of space, as I said. There are really no major complaints. You can only compare to the other trucks like the F-150 that had a ton of features for utility. You can say this one doesn't have some of those. The bed is a little bit empty. There's not too much to do back there. The F-150 just really went all out when it came to the bed, to the tailgate. This doesn't have some of those features, so you can start to compare there. But when you talk about everyday usability and not just on the construction side or taking it to certain scenarios, this really is the overall best truck on the market. Now that I've reviewed the brand new Ford F-150, the new Chevy Silverado 1500, and the Ram 1500, I feel I have a real good kind of understanding and verdict on where each truck shines. Like I said, this is going to be your overall everyday use truck. This is the one I would get. Thank you so much for watching this video. That is going to wrap it all up. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, again, consider subscribing to the channel. Scroll down, smash the like button, follow me on Instagram. Handle is AdamDrivesLA, and I will see you in the next car.